working in consciousness to overcome what others have taught us. I'm Brother Malcolm. And for those of you who may not know who I am or know very little about me, how did I get here to this point? Some people have said to me recently, you seem to be talking about God a lot. I never heard you talk about God a lot. Some people thought that I didn't, I guess, believe in God. Because I dealt with empowerment, powers of the mind, enlightenism. And I talked about the inward journey. And I've been working on the inward journey, or traveling on the inward journey for a while now. And then I discovered something. I discovered there was a conflict between my toxic goals and my enlightenism goals. On the inward journey, when I began, I had goals that I had pre-established. My background is philosophy. And I thought that philosophy would guide me to a place where I could really understand consciousness. And I would be in a better position to understand why I felt certain ways about myself. It reminds me of a story that happened a few years ago in Oakland. For those of you familiar with Oakland, then you know that there's Lake Merritt. It's a lake that people walk around quite frequently. People jog around the lake. They have all types of activities. But during the week, in the early morning hours, you can see some people with sad faces walking around the lake. You even see some people crying. We're talking about adults. You can see people crying in a lot of pain. I saw a friend of mine crying, grown man. Didn't stop because I was driving. But later on, I saw the person. And I said, hey man, what's happening? What's going on? And he said, I'm really upset. He said, I got a ticket the other day for speeding. And I didn't think I was speeding. Then I protested the ticket, went into court. And then I was found guilty of the ticket. They gave me so many points, put restrictions on my license, my insurance shot up. Then I had to pay some money to take care of the driver's training. He said, so man, I'm at my wit's end. He said, I don't know. He said, this is a crazy world. He said, it seems like people are always picking on people who don't have any power. And they let all of the people go who have the power. And he said, and I'm feeling really victimized. I'm tired of this stuff. That's what he said. I'm tired of feeling this way. I want to do something about it. I want to change things. He said, that's what it is, Malcolm. I want to change things. I want to change these things so that they're better for people. Make things better. He said, but I don't know how to do it. Nobody's going to pay me any attention. And I said, well, brother, what if I told you that I can take you to the person who can not only answer the question, but solve the problem? He said, oh man, you got to be kidding. I said, no, I'm serious. So he said, let's go. So we walked over to the coffee shop, which is right around the lake area. So I took him to the coffee shop. We sat down, ordered some coffee, he ordered some breakfast. And we began to talk. Started talking. He said, okay, what is it? Who do you want to introduce me to? I said, I'm introducing you to yourself. You are the one that can change the world. You are the one that have all the power to change how you think and live. You are the one. You have been chosen to clean up your life, to change and transform how you think about yourself. He said, oh man, he said, that stuff don't work. He said, I've tried all of that. I've been to a lot of self-help courses. I've been to church, read a lot of books, and it didn't work. I said, but think about it for a minute. What if you weren't working in the right place? You weren't looking in the right place. If you're not searching or seeking power within the right place, then you get confusion when you seek it somewhere else. You have to seek it within yourself. And he had a startled look on his face. Because, folks, when we come face to face with understanding, we are here to solve our own problems. And that whether we feel depressed or victimized or feeling good, we do so because of what we think about ourselves. So if people want to know why am I talking about the greater power of God in me now, it's because that's how I got to this point, understanding that what I was talking about was leading me to where I am. Enlightenism, empowerment, power of the mind, philosophy, all of the things led me to where I am aware of myself being whole, perfect, and complete. Colorless, faceless, and formless. When I strip away all of my beliefs that place limitations on me. That's who I am in consciousness. But I may not believe it all the time. Because the realness of the illusions makes us want to change things, but not ourselves. That's why you have politicians. That's why you have ministers. That's why you have all of these people talking about changing people rather than themselves, rather than changing the individual who believes that you are the way that the world has defined you, and that all of your solutions come from this mindset. I want freedom. That's what someone may say. I want freedom. Define freedom. Well, I want all of the rules to change. I want people to be treated equally. I want fairness. Which means, to you, the person that's making the statement, things are unfair. They're unequal. Why? Things are the way they are because we are bought into a set of beliefs from others that have defined us a certain way. And then we have embodied those beliefs. And I say this quite frequently. Then we become powerless. Then we look at each other, and what do we see? We don't see freedom. You don't see freedom. If you're walking in East Oakland, do you see freedom? What do you see on Manchester in Los Angeles today? Crenshaw in LA. What do you see? You see what you believe about yourself and other people. And then you begin to think of the other people the way you perceive them as being. And then we begin to glorify other people based upon what others have told us about. So we begin to see, oh, this person is a movie star. This person is a businessman, a theologian or something. And then our minds go to work. You know, he graduated from Harvard. Oh, everybody's happy. Cal, Berkeley, Stanford, Yale. Then somebody said, well, he graduated from Los Angeles City College. Nobody cares. See what I'm saying? So then when somebody like me or you say, I want to introduce you to God. Now, think about it. You're in a meeting anywhere trying to solve the problems of the world. Person stands up in the meeting. This could be a community meeting to deal with the violence in the community, to deal with the conditions in the community. And a person stands up and says, I want to introduce you to God. What goes through your mind when you hear that word? I can tell you what went through my mind when I heard it, and I heard it a lot in my life. I thought of religion, and I thought of the books of religion. I thought of the Bible. Someone said to me, I want to introduce you to God. The God that I had heard about from others. The God that I thought was omnipotent. Then I would go, my mind would automatically react to the statement of what the person is talking about. Just like it reacts to Harvard and Yale and Stanford. There's a certain immediate reaction. And that's what happens when you think of a race of people. There is an immediate reaction. It's not analytical. It's immediate. It is what you really think. It is your source of reference, which are your beliefs. And therefore, it's difficult to believe. If you're walking down Crenshaw today in LA, for those of you familiar with Crenshaw, or Manchester or something, in LA, or Central, and you see someone walking the street, and you walk up to the person, and you are feeling depressed and downtrodden, and you walk up to the person, they have a smile, and they say to you, in your moment of crisis and confusion, I want to introduce you to God. You look at the person and say, this person is great. He doesn't have anything. What is he talking about? If he knew God, he wouldn't be on Crenshaw. He wouldn't be on Manchester. He would be on television. I would have to know about him if he could introduce me to God. Or he has some big church, big congregation. He has to have something other than himself. Something other than you is what you're saying to yourself. I need something other than myself. So when I talk about the God and people wondering how I got to this place and why I'm suddenly talking about it, even though I am not suddenly talking about God, been talking about it for the last 20 years. I was just using different words. And now when you get to this part of the journey, you begin to say to yourself, what do people think about what I'm saying? How do you understand it? How do you understand the inward journey? Someone asked me the other day, and I want to thank them for it. They asked me about a video they saw of me. They wanted to know, you talk about the power and the light within. How do we see it? How do we see this power? In other words, how can I see that you have the power? Or how can I see that I have the power? Because there's nothing in my life that expresses this great power. Because people say, because I think the power is somebody that is elevated in society. Did you think about that for a moment in your own life? And I said to the person, on the inward journey, it begins simply by unlearning the desire to unlearn what others have taught you about you. Let's just start there. What they have taught you about who you are. And then branch out. Because who you have been taught to believe you are causes you to think things about yourself and other people. So you can dislike other people because you have been taught to dislike other people. You have been taught it from somebody else. Little children are taught things. They're taught to believe in history and all of the things else that they're taught in school to believe it. Then it becomes true. It becomes the truth about the kid that's learning about it. It'll become the truth about the person that's in pain today. Why? People can say, well, I'm in pain because I'm too old. I'm in pain because I'm not feeling well. I'm in pain because, there's nothing ever going to change. So when I say to someone who says to me, nothing is ever going to change, they are not going to let you change. The world is not going to allow you to change. What you're really saying is you want other people to change. And the world not going to allow all of you to change. And that's true. That is a truth, an immutable truth. All of the people are not going to change. And that's not your issue. Your issue is to change yourself. So that you see yourself differently. Then you see the people on Crenshaw and Manchester and East 14th Street different. When you see yourself different, folks, then you see other people different. Then you see the environment different. Then you see what? You see God. Because now the door in your consciousness, from the consciousness of truth, which leads you to the greater power of God, you see it. You see it for yourself. You don't need to read about somebody going up on a mountain. You see the truth for yourself about who you are and your connection to power. God is consciousness. Plain and simple. Unconditioned consciousness that has not been conditioned to be anything, yet creates people, things with conditions, like these bodies that we have, minds and everything else that go with the body. When the consciousness discovers itself in you, there's a different glow on your face. All of the things you have thought about, race, color, gender, age, religion, status, and education, you see them for what they are.
90 seconds.
Nothing. They're illusions, folks. They're nothing but illusions. And I ask you today, step into your power with enlightenism. Find the place within you on the inward road, on the inward journey that can give you power and clarity so that you can say to yourself, I am greater than the way I have defined myself using other people's beliefs and values. I'm Brother Malcolm. See you again soon. Have a great day.